The gym was in an area that you hadn't coached in. So basically you're going, I'd say, relatively cold. Fast forward to now, how many members are you at?
Breaking over the 100 mark now.
On this week's episode, we have Tom Martin from Back Yourself CrossFit.
It's 3,200 square foot. For us to be new on the block, we couldn't really build it up slowly, so we went full out.
What do you think CrossFit can do as an organisation to support their affiliates?
I think maybe some affiliates might want to understand what the money is going on.
What are you doing to build community?
We had like a pub quiz, but we did it in the gym. We got a bake-off this week and we got a pizza party. I think that's what most people get stuck to. It's not the programming, it's not the cool and sexy movements. It is that community, and that's probably our biggest pillar.
What would you say to the coach who's listening to this right now and they have aspirations to move into their own premises and pull the trigger?
Coaches are a turnstile. As a CrossFit coach, you will never make enough to earn a living within that gym unless you do exactly what they've done, build your own.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tom, welcome to the Fitness Marketing Agency podcast. Your business is CrossFit Back Yourself. You're one of the co-owners. We're going to talk all things CrossFit, your love for the sport and how it's impacted your life. But first of all, let's go way back. How did you get into the fitness industry?
Oh, God. So weirdly, I've got a degree in photography. So the plan was to kind of do photography. And then I found, actually, when I got a job in it, it became very much a chore. And the love for that kind of died. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And then I worked within a photography studio and it kind of fell through. So I had to find a job very quickly, which led me to Toby Carvery. So I worked at Toby Carvery for about 3 months. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm doing something else. And then kind of from there, I was like, right, at uni, I would help coach like the rugby team. And go to the gym there and actually help people. Kind of found like a love for that. So booked onto like a level 2, booked onto like a level 3, found a job in Forest Green Rovers. They had like a gym for like
the football team.
Yeah, open to the public. And I started in there really.
Roughly how long ago was that?
God, what, 2024? Over 10 years ago.
Yeah. Excellent. And then how did you sort of transition to, you went down the S&C route, right? And then into CrossFit, if we just talk about that.
Yeah, so started looking at trying to work with like rugby teams and things like that through the S&C. So I did a S&C qualification, which kind of led me into like barbell work and Olympic weightlifting. And then I pretty much fell into CrossFit. I worked as a PT in like your pure gyms. I changed my mum's garage into like a little PT studio. So I worked out of there as well. And then one of the guys from the rugby team said that this gym was looking for a coach. Never done CrossFit. Had a bit of like barbell work. So could teach cleans and snatches and things like that at a very basic level. And it was not a CrossFit gym, but they did not CrossFit, similar stuff to kind of CrossFit.
X-Fit?
Yeah, pretty much. So they did every movement and they kind of took me on. And I say to like the coaches I've got now, like, don't worry, we will help you progress. When I started teaching not CrossFit, I didn't have a clue what any of the movements were. Like the members that I was coaching had to coach me double unders. It was that kind of like I had to learn kind of very quickly.
Thrown into the deep end.
Yeah. So I think I gave myself like 2 weeks to start kind of learning each of the movements and things like that.
Names and...
Yep. And that was it. It was like before class, what is it? Oh my God, here we go. But I think from there, that's where kind of my drive came, which has kind of got me where I am now, to be fair.
And got you hooked into the sport?
Yeah, so rugby stopped. I did a little bit of like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And to be fair, I was more into that than I was CrossFit. I enjoyed coaching CrossFit, but my sport was, I enjoyed doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I did it like on days. I would probably cancel clients, so I could do it like 3 times a day. I'd go at like 6 a.m, lunchtime, and then like 5:30, which wasn't good. And then COVID hit, so I couldn't do jiu-jitsu. So my focus became CrossFit. I could do it in my mum's garage, had all the weights, everything that I needed. And then when we could go back to the gyms, jiu-jitsu, they opened up, but you're in a square space on your own, practicing these moves with nothing. So for me, like, I enjoyed the sport. I enjoyed the wrestling part and seeing and learning things like that. So I actually never went back. Then I also decided that I needed to make more money, so couldn't cancel PTs. And that's probably where my love for the sport came, that, okay, actually I could train and be competitive. Basically.
So I've had the privilege to have been coached by you for over a year. So I was a member of a CrossFit gym local to me, and you were a part of the coaching team there. And one thing distinctly about you versus other coaches is the way that you would coach certain movements, especially the Olympic lifting. Mm-hmm. So how did you improve as a coach, and how did you get the information and knowledge and more like the teaching points to instruct a class of 12, 15, 20 people all to do an advanced movement?
So there's there's one course that I've done that I loved, and it was the CrossFit gymnastics course. So that taught me more about not just gymnastics, how to look at the body, how to identify things. They go a lot down like virtuosity, mastery and things like that. So that's where kind of really homing in on certain points has really benefited me. Then I got an Olympic weightlifting coach, so they've taught me everything I need to know. And again, I think where I wanted to coach people as well, I think I took more questions why, and starting to understand.
So you hired a specific Olympic weightlifting coach to help you with your lifts?
I say hired. He was a good friend in the gym that I worked at, that pretty much was
mentored and coached you on the movements. Yeah. And were you then competing at CrossFit at this point, or doing a few comps?
I was doing like a few comps, roped into a few. Again, didn't know kind of anything about CrossFit really. Like, I enjoyed the movements. I was competitive in classes, and then when there's competitions that you can do, again, like that buzz and having something to train and focus on, again, kind of just then reinstalled my love for it. Back to the previous point of who I've worked with, we had a physio in our gym, and she helped massively, just looking at how people move and their movements and understanding their movements as well. We did stuff with her monthly, where she would come, and it's just basic things on what we're looking for, and standard screening, which
it's not done.
The knowledge.
It's not done right in many gyms.
Yeah. I mean, again, a level 2 PT, a level 3 PT, the qualifications to get are easy. The businesses that own them don't care if you're good enough or not. They're getting money. They're a business. They're bringing in income. The level 4 S&C was good for me and did help, but looking at the work I produced compared to somebody else's work, they just did the bare minimum, yet still passed. Again, this is where I think some of the courses should be, that actually, if they've got a 10% pass rate, it's a good course, whereas 100% pass rate,
which is what the fitness industry is about.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So we met obviously on the gym floor. Yep. You were coaching me, but then I know the story, but what made you make the decision to go from coaching, head coach, to running your own business?
So for me, whenever I've gone into a gym, I'll always like to give my best. So I will put in extra hours and try and make it a really nice environment. Try and do as much as I can, because, for example, some of the events that we do, I would put everything into it, because I like seeing how much everybody loves it and things like that. I think at some point, if it's not appreciated, for whatever reason, or you don't feel it's appreciated, I think that's the time where you go, right, actually, I'm putting in loads of work. It's probably now time that I reap the benefits, and it's easy for me to give myself a pat on the back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. And everything, to a degree, has a time line.
100%. Again, it's always been, I think, people, I've understand now, because I've seen it in the I've seen it myself. Like, coaches are a turnstile. Like, as a CrossFit coach, you'll never make enough to earn a living within that gym, because majority of the time head coach is owner, unless the business is doing really, really well or is really, really big. But majority of the time, the head coach is somebody that owns it. So there will never be, or hardly an opportunity for you to be head coach unless you do exactly what they've done and build your own.
Which is sort of how CrossFit grew so quickly, right?
Yeah.
It was like the first few CrossFits, and then on the map,
Yeah.
it was like within a 10-mile radius, more CrossFits and so
Yeah.
on, and a ricochet effect
Absolutely.
from that. So where there's no maybe career progression, right?
Yeah.
For the coach, so the only option is to go into ownership of a CrossFit
Yeah.
box. So you're working on the gym floor coaching CrossFit
Yeah.
many hours, and you probably had this itch that you wanted to scratch, right? To
Yeah.
open up your own box.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot of things had to align for that to happen.
Yeah.
So do you want to just talk through that transitional phase?
Again, it's constantly, even before like I've decided I was going to do it, I'll always look at units, what's available. Again, when I moved here, I moved from Gloucester to here, which is like 2.5 hours on a good day. So it's always been a plan. I was a coach at the gym in Gloucester. I've then moved to head coach, and then the next step is owner. So it was within a 5-year plan, and you're like always looking for like different units, what becomes available, looking at equipment, that kind of thing. You make a wish list, things like that. And then unfortunately, like, heads butted, things didn't go as planned. Like, for me, I wanted to make a gym amazing when I'm in it, but I need something back, otherwise I might as well do it on my own. And that's kind of what happened. Like, there's no like animosity between us.
The plan basically escalated and fast forward
Pretty much,
quicker
yeah.
than you expected.
Yeah, 100%.
So you found a unit.
Found a unit.
You've secured some business partners.
Yeah.
And you went in to business together.
Yeah.
So we'll flash up some images, video footage of your gym,
Yeah.
because it's only around the corner from our office here. And as we do it, can you just talk people through like the size of the unit, the equipment that you have inside, the lease, like everything like that?
So it's 3,200 square foot. It might not be, it might be less, but somewhere around that. We've got an upstairs and a downstairs, so that the floor on the downstairs is about 2,000 square foot. So we've gone to, I'm very particular on how like things are done, like with the businesses around us and our competition. Like, they're set, they've got members. So in order for us to be new on the block, we couldn't really build it up slowly. So we went full out. We made sure that everything was the same. So we went for a company called UKSF. If they want to send me some more for equipment, that's amazing, because I've plugged them. But I wanted everything to be unisync. So if I was going to get Concept 2 rowers, everything was going to be Concept 2. If I was going to get Echo bikes, it would all be Echo bikes. And then whenever I get any new equipment, I'll go from them regardless. So it's all got the same kind of branding. So we've got a long rig all the way down one side, 6 Echo bikes, 5 of then ski, row and bike ergs, kettlebells up to 32, lots of wall balls, lots of boxes, lots of dumbbells, pretty much.
Off the top of your head, how much did you invest in the equipment?
50k.
Yeah. And you were able to open the doors and turn on the lights and get customers in the door?
Yeah. So it's been over a year now, so we pretty much opened 19th of Feb. So we opened for the CrossFit Open last year, just. So yeah, technically this is our year anniversary that we're having, finishing the Open.
And you didn't know too many people in the area, and the gym was in an area that you hadn't coached in.
Yeah.
So basically you're going in I'd say, relatively cold to that area.
Yes.
Just fast forward to now, how many members are you at?
So I think we're breaking over the 100 mark now. So it's been a nice steady growth over the year, which has been really good. So started off around 50, built. And then the last kind of like 20 have been over the last like 4 months, which has been nice. So everybody's been integrated nicely, into the community.
And they're sticky, obviously, retention's high.
Yeah, retention's really high. Again, like CrossFit is for everybody, but at the same time, CrossFit isn't for everybody. Everybody can do it, but not everybody will enjoy it. And that's what I say to people on the phone, like, come and give it a go. If you enjoy it, cool. If you don't, let's find something that you do. Like, our aim is to get people fitter and healthier. So if they don't enjoy CrossFit, but they enjoy ping pong, cool. They're going to go to ping pong, and every week it's going to be something that they enjoy while moving. Like I say, I used to be one of those guys that would, I've eaten shit, I've got to go to the gym and bench press like there's no tomorrow. And it's kind of breaking that stigma of, actually, I do this because I enjoy it.
What sort of demographic came through the door then? Was it people looking for CrossFit because they've Googled it, they know who Matt Fraser is, Samantha Briggs, or is it more people that would just see the adverts and they've got a history of buying fitness, or they've got a history of weight gain and weight loss, or whatever it is? What demographic was coming through the door?
It was a mixture. It was less people that knew about CrossFit, 100%. It was more people going, I've done everything else. I go to this, I've done the classes here. This is something that looks different, so I want to give it a go. So yeah, we find that everybody that we kind of get at the moment is new to CrossFit, new to the movements, and then there'll be the odd few that have gone, I've done it here or tried it a little bit.
So no games athletes are walking in?
None at all.
Yeah.
Not yet.
There might be some hiding, right? Yeah. So what's the price point and sort of what's the package commitment that people currently...
So we are 125 for unlimited. That's come every day of the week if you wanted to, but we close Sunday. And then we've got our gold, which is £100 a month. That's 3 times a week, and then £80 a month for twice a week. Most people will come in for 3 times a week once they kind of fall in love with it and their life and their structure enables it. A lot of them have then jumped to that unlimited.
Let's talk about sales process first.
Yeah.
So when the inquiries come in, what's your current sort of sales process?
So it's fairly difficult for us at the moment in terms of, like, all 3 of us are working.
That's you and the 2 other co-owners?
Yeah, me and 2 others. So we've just got to find a way of making sure that then, i.e. Chloe and our other coaches, can also do the same. So we're working on that at the moment. But it will be pretty much like, I've got time, I'll give them a call, leave a voicemail, leave a WhatsApp, and then keep kind of chasing. I think I said yesterday, like, our closing isn't bang on yet. So again, a lot of the time we get to that final stage of putting in their details and they go, actually, can I come and see the gym, or can I get a free taster and things like that. From like a free taster, like, I think it also depends on like what these people are looking for. There's been a lot of we do the 6 weeks and then they tend to then sign up to a membership, but we've had quite a few people that come in and go, I love this. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Fuck the 6 weeks.
I just want to commit to it.
I just want to commit, and this is something that I need to be doing.
So a client comes through the door.
Yep.
Is there any type of movement assessment, or are they straight into class? Any PT? How does it work?
They'll come straight into our class. Our classes we tell people that they are for everybody. Our coaches are good. So actually, their screening process comes within the class, depending on what the movement is. From there, we then offer them, if they want to, like one-to-ones where they go through the difficult movements, where they get a whole hour of a coach's time. But a lot of the time where we go through like our warm-ups and things like that, every warm-up that we do is pretty much a screening process. So we'll make you do certain exercises that we can see the class and make sure that we can see everybody. And actually we can tell a lot from these movements. They're not just there to warm you up. They're there to give us an indication of what you need to work on. And then A, B, and C, right, you're an A because your hips are tight. If we're looking at squats, for example, this is what I want you to do. Again, we've got a very good process where we say, like, right, personal mobility. So it's not just a class. Some people do come and they just want to switch off and hardly listen. you know who you are. But a lot of them actually get educated in what they need to work on. What are the biggest areas of like mobility wise, like in order to move better? Again, yes, CrossFit is a fun sport and it's intense and difficult, but actually our main priority is to kind of get you moving better in order to live life a lot better. So if I'm looking at your squat, it's not, I want to look at it, see if I can get you squatting heavier necessarily. I want you to move well so that actually when you go and sit on the toilet, you can get back up. And that's the kind of process that we go through.
I've seen your programming. I've experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk us through sort of the methods that you're following and then how you adapt it? Because obviously CrossFit is very advanced, some of the movements, but then you've got beginners that you haven't worked out for ages, don't even really know what CrossFit is.
Yeah.
How are you adapting that in the day when they're coming into sessions?
So, yeah, programming can be quite difficult. Like, who do you program for? Do you program for your top athletes? We call them athletes, top athletes, or do you program for the beginners? Yeah. We'll program for our top athletes. Again, we'll probably program for over our top athletes. Cool. So, like, they will have a target as well. Like, they're top athlete. Like, I say top athletes, our best athletes, athletes, members, whatever you want to call them. They want something to work towards as well. Like, if it's too easy for them, what's the point? They'll go and do their own programming, buy programming online and do that somewhere. So I will program for them. Again, everything is scalable. So they want to be coached. I can't make it. So for example, let's say you've got ring muscle ups. I think we had it yesterday where it was 6. Okay. You're a top athlete.
In the WOD or just as technical?
In the WOD.
Okay.
So, okay, you're a top athlete, but I know how you move. I know this is going to be difficult for you. Let's aim for 4. And you then reduce it by movements like that. We did spend the first half of the class looking at ring muscle ups, which again is very key. Like, people will look at it and go, ring muscle ups, I haven't got them. No, we're not expecting you to have them. Like, let's find out where you are, and each part is progressing and teaching these people how to get these movements. And if they see ring muscle ups again, it's right, I know what I'm doing when it comes to that.
And I know what my scaling option is.
Exactly. Again, so when it comes to scaling, so let's take pull-ups, for example. If we've got pull-ups in a WOD, we'll probably make that our focus and our skill element that we're teaching within the class. We tend not to overprogram. So there's some places...
What do you mean by that?
So overprogramming, like I've worked at a few gyms where there's so much difficulty in there, which is fine, but time is not like, you've only got an hour. Take the warm up 45 minutes to like kind of teach and make sure that everybody's, again, your goal is to make sure that people don't get injured. So you've got a lot of technical things to teach, or not even teach, just make sure that people aren't going to injure themselves. If you've got, you know, a lift like snatches, blah, 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 blah. Then you've got handstand push-ups and other like difficult movements in the workout. Like, it's a lot to kind of go through. Like, sometimes like, I would love just to program just a strength element. We'll focus on that. And then we've got some kind of 4-minute workout at the end. And that's our focus. Yes, you get sweaty at the end. If we've got a long WOD, cool. If I put something difficult in there, that will be our focus, technique point. And then we kind of go into it. So back to pull-ups. There's different things that I like to look at. Is if we're going through it, we'll go through a lot of strict work. You've got to have strict before we go into the weird kipping, the swing thing that everybody likes to call it. So we do a lot of like time under tension, tempo work. Even if you've got pull-ups, you still need to be able to do that and build on that in order to help with your kipping, pull-ups, etc., and build that capacity. So then we've gone through that. We've done, the body's quite under a little bit of stress from the strict. We'd then change the workout in terms of, right, it is now just to hit a stimulus that somebody that's doing pull-ups will also hit. So rather than a kipping pull-up or putting your body under like strict, so slowly down, eccentric kind of work, we're going to go into jumping pull-ups. Yes, it may not be the best thing to help you to get pull-ups, but we've already done that hard work. So let's keep to this to hit the stimulus of getting out of breath, still using the arms, and understanding that the legs is your kip or helps with momentum. Now, if we haven't got a pull-up focus in there, then what we can do is actually help in the WOD for you to build strength through that movement, because we haven't really stressed the body too much. So a 3-second hold over the bar, 3-second eccentric, and then 3 of those beat swings. So you've got isometric, eccentric, plus then some movement in there to practice. So it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's so easy just to go, I'll just do jumping. But it's, again, understanding what the role is and how we're going to help these people get to what their goals are.
Have you seen members come in and overtrain and go like full in with CrossFit because they've got the bug, they're hooked, they have aspirations just to get as fit and as strong as possible. Maybe they've got a competition coming up that you're putting on in-house, or it's another comp.
100%.
What do you say to them?
So this is where the programming needs to come in. So again, you program for your top level athletes, knowing that it is scalable and adaptable for everybody else, but also without making them feel like shit, saying, "Oh, you're down here." Most people understand it. They know that they're not there, and they will get there. It's also them programming for people that come or want to come 5-6 times a week. And again, making sure that they understand if they are competing or they're just doing it because they love it, like that they need their body to rest. So we tend to have in the programming, like we tend to put like a EMOM in, maybe on like a Thursday or towards the end of the week, that okay, you've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If this is your first session of the week, you can hit it hard. If this is your 4th session of the week, we can just really chill. Like, the scaling options. So actually, instead of doing toes to bar, let's go to toes to target. Let's do less reps and actually just move through this if you still want to come without going balls to the wall.
So the reason I lined up that question is I've heard you emphasize this to the members, not to, go red line every workout,
Absolutely.
Which is so common, right, in CrossFit.
Well, this is what you get. You get the my zones, big screen on, everybody hit red. Like, you can't hit red and your heart rate at that thing. And again, you can't go heavy every time, and you can't beast your body like to the point of like, it's just not going to happen.
Breaking every gym session.
100%. That's just, it's not going to happen. It will happen for a X amount of time, and then you will feel shit. And
you don't see any progression in your own fitness, right?
No,
it's just another stress on the body. And
it's not. I wouldn't even like. It's not even that. The main thing that I find is like your body is just tired, and you're not even worried about progression. You just feel, a slump, tired constantly, moaning constantly, sore constantly.
And you get addicted to that feeling of maybe the muscle soreness and
Like, again, we get a lot of people that will go, "I don't feel it here." Cool, that's probably a good thing. Like, I don't want to walk out of the gym
every day
unable to walk. Like, that's not a leg day.
What are you doing to build community or continue to build community?
So we do as much in and out of the gym as possible. So one of our members we call her the social sec. And we try and put on different events, if you wish, that people can kind of attend if they want to. So like last month, we had like a gym quiz, so like a pub quiz, but we did it in the gym. Alex, the social sec, she'll fucking love this. She put it on, she puts it on all the time, goes through the quiz, and it's fun. It's not like a boring quiz, like loads of questions. I think there was one where you had to run up, and it's got loads of like different arrangements of numbers, and then you've got to match it to the arrangements of numbers on here, and then the codes will unlock, and like things like that. Play-Doh rounds where it's fun. People are then they're put into teams, so they're meeting. I think my first ever like CrossFit social ever, I knew everybody, and then 6 a.m. was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, they go to the 5:30, and like people don't get to integrate. So yeah, it's nice to just be able to get everybody into kind of the same room
Normal clothes.
Normal clothes.
And mix-
I don't
and
recognise
mixing.
half of them.
Yeah.
Everyone's sweating. And like mixing with different people. And then again, the classes become nicer because actually they go, I'm going to do a 5:30 this time, or I'm going to do I'm going to try 6 a.m.
I've not preempted you on this question. What are the sort of, 1, 2 or 3 biggest challenges you've had in the 12 months that you've been open?
It's probably my self-development massively. From every gym that I've worked at, I've been driven and I've been wanting to be the best ever. So I think I would always ask like members that I was good friends with, like, how was the session with such and such? And they're like, nah, it's all right. And that would make me happy as an individual. I'd be like, cool, I'm the best. I want to be the best. So again, that's where my drive came from, my learning came from, is I wanted to be the best. I wanted people to go, he's the best coach.
I'm coming to Tom's sessions.
I'm coming to
Tom's sessions are always booked out.
100%. And then as soon as you're an owner, I think I listened to one of your podcasts with Ollie, and yeah, you're like, okay, I do not want to be the best anymore. I want my members to go, don't care what day it is. I know that whatever coach I'm getting the same coaching. So it doesn't matter who it is, who turns up, if it's covered or anything like that. I'm getting the same kind of coaching and I will progress. So for me, it's been that personal development of...
I think every coach, personal trainer that goes into the business role, we all have that. We've all been through that. So where you think you're the best, but then you realise, actually, I don't need to be the best. I need to empower my team to be the best.
100%.
So we can dominate the local area.
Yeah.
So,
That's probably been one of the biggest ones. Everything's just a learning. Like, everything is just learning how to manage time better, how to delegate things. And then you also realise how bad you want it or don't want it. You can't just sit on your bum and every day is like a working day, and you've got to put a lot of time and effort into it. So I think it's trying to do that while also balancing life. It's probably been quite a challenge.
Let's switch and just talk about CrossFit overall as an organisation. So recently they put yours and every affiliate owner's fees up. So what were you paying previously and what is it now?
So it was $3,000 a year and it's now 4.
And what do you receive for that?
It's such a difficult, not massive amounts, I guess. Apart from the name. But that's what it is, isn't it? That's the brand. That's like, people have gone to classes where they've tried classes and they'll type in classes, but people, I think that's where like working with you is also helps, like getting people into CrossFit that know CrossFit is fucking easy because they know it, they've done it, they enjoy it. People that don't know CrossFit, that's the hard part. But we're finding, like, with the name, people have tried something different. If there's word of mouth, people say try CrossFit, friends have said try CrossFit, then they're coming to us.
It's attracted a certain demographic, right? That have investigated you before, they've got a base level of fitness. Yeah. And then obviously you're on the map with CrossFit and you get to use their name. Yeah.
So like there is, like, again, what do we technically visually get from it? Not loads, I guess. Yeah. But again, I think like the community part of like the Open that we've got is
so just
massive.
Talk through what the Open is, how it's benefiting the business, the community.
So the Open is like a worldwide comp. So everybody that enjoys CrossFit should or would take part in it. It's an online comp. Everybody does the workouts, everybody logs their scores, and then you get to see where you sit in the world. For some it's fun, some it's not. And then if you progress, you can then progress to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then you then get to the games. So it's nice to see kind of that you're competing with like the top level athletes. Let's call them famous, like famous athletes.
Yeah, they're famous inside the sport, right?
Yeah, 100%. So you get to kind of feel like you're competing against them. Well, you're not competing against them, but
you're judging your score against them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get to see you get to do the workouts that they do, and then get really humbled where you think that you might be even close, and it gives you that appreciation of how good they are, if that makes sense.
And how far potentially you've got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then for us, it's kind of like we put on something every Friday night. We do it Saturday in the daytime and Sunday as well, for people to take on the workouts. And it's just a really nice community kind of thing. Like, a lot of people like to hear the word competition, so they're like, "Oh my god, no, not going to do it." We don't force anybody to do it, but we let them know that it's not really a competition. This is just something fun for you to kind of log, and then think of it as like a benchmark. We'll do this workout, then we might test it in like a few weeks. Yes, you've got a judge counting your reps for you. Some people take it just from that, so they don't have to count. And then what we've done is slightly different. So in order to make it more inclusive and not feel like you're against everybody else, we've put people into teams. So we've got 4 teams of about 17, and you get certain points. So your team gets a point for you participating. So if you do the workout in the gym, you get your team point. Yes, we have like top 3 of like certain age groups, male and female. So if you do get podium, you get your team more points. We then have like biggest supporting team. So people have been making banners, cakes, ordering T-shirts, kind of just to like cheer people on. And again, they get more points. Like we have the moment of point 1, so it could be anything from somebody smashing the workout, somebody getting a PB. Last week was one guy came quite late to Friday night. Most people had gone, but he did it on his own with like his team then kind of stayed on and supported him. So there's things like that we do that make it more of a community thing. We've got a bake-off this week, so teams are baking, get to vote for the best one, and it's just like a little bit of fun. And everything I've mentioned, people forget that it's a competition where
or
they
even
maybe,
CrossFit, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Becomes this big community event.
Yeah, and we got a pizza party as well. Again, cool. People are like, but is it fitness? Yeah, this is balance. So yeah, like I say, it's a social element that we've got, and like I say, people have forgotten now that they're technically competing against each other.
Do you see a better client for you if they take part in the social or the fitness contest? They become stickier or longer?
Yeah, I would say so. They buy into it. Like they're no longer in it now just to get fitter, get leaner, or anything, or get stronger. They're now in it because they've made friends, family. Let's go cringe. But people that they'll text like, "Are you doing it tonight? Yeah, cool. I'll see you there. Are you going to the social night? Yeah, cool. I'll see you there. Do you want to go for a dog walk outside of the gym?" So people have like made connections. We've got one woman that's leaving. Unfortunately, she's moving to Portugal. But she was like, if I had not made plans to move to Portugal before coming to CrossFit, I would not be leaving.
Because of the community that she's enrolled in and part of. Yeah,
and that's, so I think the social side is a big sticking point. And again, for us, it's the people that we find that we get they start off fairly shy, and then, they're now big characters within the gym. And again, those people are shy. They're still in there mingling, maybe not really loud, but still enjoying it, if that makes sense.
What do you think CrossFit can do as an organisation to support their affiliates?
Again, like what? There's not a lot they can do. It's like I think you just go, right, it's a business. Like if we weren't CrossFit and did this kind of style of training, would we still see the same amount of people? Would we still be able to create the same kind of community?
Energy,
things like that.
I think it's also like the buy-in from people like to say, I do CrossFit.
Yeah.
So, and then the next question is, where do you train? I train at back yourself.
Yeah.
So it's that mentality, and people love to give themselves a label or give someone else a label. Oh, that's Ben over there. Oh, he does CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then the next question, where do you do CrossFit? And so I think there's a big element of that involved, right?
Yeah, I think so. Again, do we want anything more? I think maybe some affiliates might want to understand what the money is going on. Again, we get discount off things and blah blah blah. But like,
It is what it is.
Yeah, you're paying for that name above your gym to potentially bring in more people.
What would you say to the coach who's listening to this right now, and they have aspirations to move into their own premises and pull the trigger and do it? What would your advice be to them?
Talk to somebody, like 100% talk to somebody that has done it. Email me. No, but that's the best thing to do. Like, so I've said to Chloe and Nikki, our coaches, like, if you ever want to think about opening up your own gym, because again, like I said previously, like, I understand it's a turntable. I understand you may have aspirations of it. Talk to me. Let's see what we can do. I've been through it all, like the ups and downs. We're coming out the other side now. Let me help you. Whether we can't franchise it, but whether we find another location that BYS can set up and help you through it, let's do it. I had a conversation with somebody last few weeks. He's been asking all about the gym and things like that. Like
a member that's considering, or
not a member, no, somebody that I've trained with.
Yeah, sure.
That wants to kind of set up his own gym. Like, he messaged me yesterday, like, were you nervous that it wasn't gonna work out or anything like that? I am still nervous but actually, I
think that's every business owner,
yeah.
Right?
He'll probably message you. Actually, I've told him to.
Okay,
I've sent him your way. That's fine. So, yeah, I think just talk to somebody. Like, as the more people that do CrossFit, for me, the more people, like, the more I'm going to benefit from it. Again, as long as you're not next door. No, but as long as it's,
there's enough people to go around, right?
100%.
And CrossFit has the ability, just like any fitness program or any gym, to change many people's lives. And the big element for me is the community within CrossFit, because it does feel like family. I know you said it's cringe and you use that word earlier, but it is, that's what happens right inside every CrossFit box.
Yeah.
Is that family atmosphere.
Yeah. Massively. I think that's what most people get stuck to. It's not the programming, it's not the cool and sexy movements. It is that community, and that's probably our biggest pillar.
So in terms of your own training and then your own aspirations with your training and the comps that you're entering, where are you at right now?
So it feels like I've been injured for the last 2 years.
That's every CrossFitter, right?
Yeah. And again, like, people go, you get injured by CrossFit. You go overtraining, that we've said. So I've done that previously. I think
everyone's guilty of that, though.
Yeah. I think my one injury came from, I think I did like a 24-hour WOD thing. So that was my overtraining. I think I managed like 16 hours before crashed and burned, after coaching all day as well. So yeah, for me, I've got to enter competitions. That's my drive. That's my drive to keep training. That's my motivation. If I enter something, cool, it's that focus. I think it's always been the case. I don't think I ever enjoyed training for training's sake. It was always like competition, from football, rugby, jiu-jitsu to now CrossFit. I enjoy competing. I enjoy trying to be as best as I can. So it's getting there. Like, we're doing the Open. We're doing all right in the Open. We should get to the quarterfinals. We've got a couple of comps kind of lined up, ready.
How you are integrating your own training into coaching, running the business? Like, are you quite strict with, like, this is my training time in my week or day, or like, are you just trying to fit it in when you can?
So I used to do my own programming until I started programming for BYS. Reason being was I can't tell my members that they can get better, but I'm going to go down there and do something completely different. So I do the programming that is in the gym. That is in Perfect. The gym, yeah. Which again is enjoyable for me, because I can talk to them, go, God, fuck me, that was hard that week, or that was a difficult workout, or haha, I beat you. No, I don't do that. Only still. So it's, for me, that's like my buy-in, and that's the buy-in from the members. They're seeing my score on there. They're seeing me do it. And again, I've enjoyed I got into CrossFit because, well, most people do, because they enjoy training with others to push themselves to do more. So for me, going back to just training with other people, we have like our coaches group where we'll text like 8 o'clock. Anybody fancy training? Again, a couple of us will then get together. train. Like this morning, wasn't working, so joined in on the 7 o'clock class, which again is nice just to...
It's good for members to see 100%. You in that capacity, not always on the other side.
Absolutely. And again, I ask the same questions, like how many reps, what are we doing, and not listening, which I moan about them. I moan to them about. So yeah, I think my training, again, it's not the forefront of my mind of competing at the highest level. Like, I understand that I am an average athlete, but I enjoy it, and it's life gets in the way. Obviously, like it's been a year of like trying to find a habit and a routine.
It's brand new, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
And you've gone in that time, from 0 to 100 members.
Yeah.
And it's going to go way beyond that, but you didn't want to, accelerate growth so much that the wheels come off and you onboard all these clients and then they leave because of the service. And,
absolutely.
And you've done it the right way, which is slow and steady.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like we know our figures and what we need to be earning and things like that. So we don't have to be in like a massive rush, if that makes sense. So my training is going. We are training. We are moving. Again, like previous to this, I was training twice a day, at least 3 times a week, and having a full structure. Then when things change, it does take a while to find a routine.
More responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm getting back into the routine. I'm enjoying it, which is the key thing. Like before, I think the year before that, I had a meltdown during the Open because I put so much pressure on myself to perform really well. And I didn't. I think I did some of the workouts like 4 times. I think I've got a video somewhere where I'm just...
to try and improve your score by like three reps?
100%. And I just had, because I thought that I should be doing better.
Yeah.
And I had a meltdown like on the video. Like it was probably the worst I've ever felt. Plus like difficulty within the business. But this year it's just been nice to enjoy it. Still put pressure on myself. Still want to do well, but it is what it is, if that makes sense.
Thank you for coming on the FMA podcast. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that were in your position coaching and they're looking to open their own gym. And I'm sure there's lots of fitness enthusiasts that potentially are looking to open a gym and become CrossFit affiliates as well because they just love the sport. Where can people find you on Instagram and what's the website of the business?
So the Instagram is BYS_CrossFit and the website is www.byscrossfit.co.uk.
Cheers, Tom. It's been great to see your growth and I can't wait for the future.
It's been amazing. Thank you, mate.
Thanks for listening to the Fitness Marketing Agency podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you can catch future episodes.